Hi, Stampers. This is Sandy Harka, and we are here on May the 12th for the Stamp and Go. We are here every month on the second Tuesday at 7 p.m. Tonight, we are going to be creating three fun cards using the Garden Gatherings stamp set and dies. And this is one of the new offerings that we have this month in the Summer Mini. You are able to get a free card kit, and that will make two of each of these free cards by placing a $35 order with me through Stampin' Up. If you place a $50 order, you'll get that plus a pack of embellishments to go with it. Tomorrow, the PDF comes out with all the measurements and the supply list for making these cards. Now, if you're not on my mailing list, you can still get that PDF by joining my mailing list, and the link for that is below. And then if you do that tonight, sign up tonight, you'll be able to get that PDF tomorrow. Okay? All right, let's begin stamping. So this is the stamp set that we're going to be using. Looks like my camera's off a little bit. Sorry about that. All right, this is the stamp set that we're going to be using. It's a fun little set. It's kind of a fresh and simple set, which means it gives you lots of possibilities to make cards with it. All right, here is the first card that we're going to be making. Now, at first glance, you may say, oh, I can't do that card. It's going to be too hard. But I have a simple way for you to do it. Makes it easy peasy. And then when you get done, you'll be very pleased with yourself. Okay, so let's start. So the trick to this is that this top layer, which is the one that's embossed with the birch embossing folder, I will have marked for you. And you can see comes down 1.5 inches here, and this mark comes up 1.5 inches from the bottom. Then I draw the parallel lines in there, and that is what is going to guide you to put the first layer in, which will be your center layer. Once you get that done, then popping on the other two is very simple. You just match them up and snip off the ends and off you go. All right. So let's do that first. And that way you'll feel very comfortable doing the rest of the card. So we're using designer paper that comes from the Bloom's Boutique set and also the In Color designer paper. This time, Stampin' Up! Did a really wonderful thing. They're giving it to us in 12 by 12s, which is awesome. All right, we're going to take this first piece, which is right here, and we're going to bring it down about 1/4 inch from the edge there, from the edge of the card there. Just going to follow those lines that are drawn right there. The next piece that goes on, and you'll have photos of this, so you won't have to worry about which piece goes on next. We're going to come up about 1/16 of an inch from that first piece. Looks like I scooted that a little bit, so let's get that back in line. All right, there we go. Now the third piece looks like this. You can see that's the other side of that Bloom's Boutique set. It is an absolutely stunning set of designer paper. I am just going to use that all to pieces. All right, and then the last piece in this this first column, we'll call it a column, is another piece of that floral print. Okay. Now we're going to come up and do the one above it. I'm going to lay my pieces in line like I'm going to pop them on. The first piece that I'm going to put on will be the floral piece, and that's going to line up with the polka dot square that we put on originally. The next piece will be this one, which is also in the boutique set. That lines up directly with the first one. And so you can see we're leaving equal borders in between there. Looks like I can scoot that a little bit. There we go. And this one is the polka dot. So this is from the In Color set, is going right up here at the top. Yes, it goes over the edge, and we're going to take care of that in short order here. All right, then the bottom line will be these pieces. Okay, we're going to start with the floral one again. That's going to line up with this piece right here. And then the polka dot piece, which comes right here. There we go. And the last piece is down here at the bottom. And that lines up just like this. Okay. Now, wasn't that easy? Now, if you want, once this dries, you should let that glue dry just a tiny bit. You can take an eraser, use a good eraser if you want to get rid of those pencil lines, okay? I'm not going to sit here and do that for you right now because you can do that on your own. We're going to flip this to the back side and take our paper snips, snip off the extra piece that's hanging over the edge. And there we are. It's all neat and ready to go. So then we're going to bring in our card base, which is thick white. Use the thick for the bases because it's a little sturdier than the regular white. And we're going to add a bit of glue to the back side of that. And we're going to center it on the card base, just like that. You have about a 1/16 of an inch showing all the way around. Now we're going to grab our vase and we're going to put that on with, I'm going to actually use a glue dot because I don't want to sit and wait for it to dry. Now you can use a dot of glue if you would prefer. So actually I'm going to put 2 right down here at the bottom to hold it steady for us. And this is going right here. So we're going to pop that up about halfway on that square right there and then press down. I want to leave that up because we're going to put the greenery in there. Now, we don't need all of that stem. That's a pretty long stem. So I'm going to cut off most of the stems here. And I'm going to use a glue dot at the base of the stem to hold that inside. And now that we have the vase on there, we know exactly where they go. So this one is going to get stuck right here. So that's our first one. Excuse me. We're going to do the same thing to the second one. And we'll put this on the back side. Okay, and this one is going to go up just a little higher. There we go, just like that. Now we have that pretty little flower. I'm also going to put that on with a glue dot right in the center on the back, and that's going right here. And then in the center of that, I'm using a medium-sized rhinestone, and that's going right in the center. Cool. Now we have a twine. This is linen thread. It'll already be tied for you in your card pack. Almost lost my my roll of glue dots there. It slipped out of my hand. Okay, I'm gonna use a glue dot. I'm gonna squish that up into a little ball, and I'm gonna put it on the back of the knot of the linen bow, and then stick that right there on my vase. Last thing will be the little embellishments, and those are those tiny little butterflies these butterflies came from that die set that was included in the Cutest Crew. Absolutely cutest stamp set we've had in a long time. Those little puppies and those little kitties, absolutely cute. So I guess that's why they named it that way, right? Okay, let's put this other little butterfly on, and both of these are on there with glue dots. All right. There you are. Your card is ready for sending. Now, if you're enjoying these Stampin' Goes, we do have classes every Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday afternoons, and you can sign up for my mailing list. You'll get emails that have photos of the cards that we're going to make, and it'll have a button on there you can sign up with, or you can always email me or phone me to register. All right, let's begin number 2. Which looks like this. So we're going to take the cardstock or the designer paper, we're going to turn it horizontally, and we're going to start by putting on this little diamond background, which is really pretty. This came from a set called Life in Bloom. I am going to put this on the back side, a little bit of glue. Little is your target word here. You don't want to get a lot of glue so it all oozes all over the place. All right, and this is going to come about right here. So we're up about a half inch, over about a quarter of an inch, and then just press down. Nice. All right, now that we have the base down here, we're going to go ahead and put on the vases, which, as you saw before, we're going to anchor those at the bottom, and then we can lift up the top to put the leaves and blooms on. So I'm going to use dimensionals. I'm going to make sure I have the back side here. Putting one dimensional at the bottom. Now this tall, slender vase is going to come right here on the left side. The rounded vase, put that right there, is going to come over, I would say, about 3/8 of an inch from the other one. Now, before we get too much up here, we're going to go ahead and stamp. So now that we know where to position this, I'm using the Best Is Yet to Come, but you can actually use any verse that you want. Now, notice that I'm using the new basic black hybrid Stampin' Up ink. So we're doing away with the StazOn and the Memento. This is a hybrid that you can use both with water-based and alcohol-based products. All right, I think I got that inked up pretty well. We're going to come over here. You know what? Just to make sure I get it done correctly, I'm going to put it on my mat. Every time I try to not use my mat, I find that I should have. So I'm going to start out right. Going to position this about right here, rock it slightly to get the top and bottom of all of those letters. Okay, let me find the lid and recap this, get it out of the way. All right, now we're ready to pop on some greenery, and we should have two, and I did have two. Let's see if I can locate that. Oh, it is right here, right before me, as usual. All right, again, we do not need all of that stemmery, so I'm going to cut some of that off. So two are mossy meadow, one is olive. Okay. Now let me find my glue dots here. And we are going to put the greenery on with glue dots. So I'm going to start with one of the mossy meadows, and that's going to go about right here, up a little bit from the vase. Okay. Looks like I have a little piece of something there. All right, and I'm going to grab another glue dot, put that on this mossy meadow set of leaves, and that, we're going to lift that vase up a little bit. That is going to slip right under here, and it's going to come down a little bit. Okay, now we have two of these poppy colored flowers. Do not ask me what those flowers are. I do not know. They're pretty though. I like them. I love flowers, but I don't necessarily know what the names of them are. So one of them, oh, you know what? I put a glue dot on there. I don't want to do that. I want to put a dimensional back there. So I'm going to go right over that glue dot. I get to talking and then I forget what I'm doing here. All right, we're going to put one right here. And I'm going to grab another one and put it on the back of this one. And that one is going right here. They kind of overlap just a little bit. All right, the next thing that goes on will be, now this is the olive one. And I'm going to put a glue dot on the back of that. We're going to lift this up a little bit right there and angle that slightly. Grab the one, now this one does look like a tulip. So that one I might be able to help you out with the name. All right, and so I put a dimensional on the back of that. And this one is going right here, kind of in the center. Okay, nice. Now, in the center of these two flowers, we are going to, oh, oops, I'm picking up the wrong set. This is the one, this is the one I want right here. So we're going to put a small rhinestone, a mini rhinestone, in the center of each of those. And then right here, we're going to color our rhinestones. So we have a large, a medium, and a small. And I'm going to use the dark Calypso coral. And I'm going to use the nib end there so I don't mess up the other end. And I'm going to go over these a couple of times. So the first layer, we're going to put that on, and that kind of dries because this is alcohol and it dries pretty quickly. Then we're going to come back and put the second layer on, which really deepens that color a little bit. All righty, half our blend there, and we're going to put the large one about right here. We're going to put the medium one down and over to the left, and the last one is going to come right here. All righty. So I think that we have one last thing to put on, and that is the linen bow. Again, I'm going to use a glue dot, and I'm going to squish that up into a little ball. Put that on the back of the knot, and it glues to the paper. You don't do what I do. All right, and then stick that right on the little rounded vase there. Then we're going to get our petal pink card base, opens at the bottom. Flip that over, and we are going to center that on the card front. Now you'll have about 1/8 of an inch showing all the way around. Okay, very good. Now, your card is ready for Sunday. I'm hoping you're enjoying the cards this evening. If you are, I would really appreciate it if you would share and like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. I would very much appreciate that. And as soon as we finish the next card, I'm going to remind you how you can get your free card kit. All right. So here is number 2. Number 3. This is number 3. I can't count well, right? Math is beyond me. All right. This is Blueberry, which I have not used a lot, but with some of the new papers that came out, it is absolutely stunning. So we are going to begin with the stamping. Let me lay that out of the way. We're going to bring in the die cut because you'll have your die cut. This is for the greenery. You can see what that looks like. And these are the flowers that we're going to use. So I'm going to open up my Shaded Spruce. All these colors will be listed in the PDF. I'm going to ink up my greenery and hover over the die cut. I feel like I have it centered well. And then just rock it slightly, not a lot, just slightly to make sure you get all of that image on there. Okay, gonna close up my spruce, grab my blueberry bushel, gonna ink up. When you ink these up, tapping is better than squishing it down because you'll get ink in all those little crevices, and sometimes that gives you a blurry image. So now we're going to center the flowers over this top area, rock it slightly, and there you go. Nice. Okay, close up our ink, otherwise I will get my elbow in it. And we're ready to start assembly. So we're going to bring in our card base, which is a blueberry. And we have a layer that has been embossed. And this is the Stone and Ivy folder, which is one of my absolute favorites right now. I use it a ton. We're going to center that over the card base. And we're going to bring in a piece. Now, this is the hydrangea. This is one of the new in colors. So we're going to add a little bit of glue to the back side. Come down about 3/4 of an inch and over about 3/4 of an inch. And then just pop that right there. This is another piece of that Bloom's Boutique. So I'm going to pop a little glue on the back side. We're going to come down about 1/2 inch from the top and over about 3/4 of an inch from the left side here. and press. Now we're going to pop on our vase, and again, I'm going to use a dimensional down here at the bottom. And I'm going to bring this over slightly from the designer paper here and up about 3/4 of an inch. All right, and now we're going to put on the flowers. And again, this is going to be a little longer than we need, so I'm going to chop that off. So if you didn't get your stems stamped really well, it's not going to matter a whole lot. All right, we're going to put a dimensional back here on the back of the flowers and tuck those in right there. Okay. Now we do have a little linen bow, and those will all be tied for you. If I didn't tell you that before, they will all be tied for you. We're going to put a glue dot on the back of the knot part. Center that right there on the neck of the vase. Last thing we have to do is put on 3 rhinestones. These are medium sized. And we're going to put it about right there and then just follow down and a vertical line from there. And then your card is ready for sending. I sure hope you enjoyed it this evening and you had a good time. If you'd like a free card kit to make 2 of each of these cards, be sure to place your order before, let's see, that will be the 18th. So you have a week to place your order, but if you're like me, it could slip your mind, so you might want to do that sooner rather than later. If your order is up to $50, then you'll get that card kit plus a pack of embellishments. So join my mailing list. Be sure you're on there, and you'll get the PDF tomorrow. And you'll also be getting the emails, the promos about the upcoming classes. And you can join us in one of those if you desire. Take care, and I'll see you at the next Stamp and Go.